After a hard foul from Ryan Howard, Clark got up, looked her dead in the eye, and said what the cameras caught loud and clear, "I'm not scared of you." That one sentence flipped the energy. The crowd got louder, the game got more physical, and the Fever, they turned up the heat. Clark didn't need to hit threes. She led with toughness. Her confidence became contagious. Even Natasha Howard, even Lexi Hull, they fed off her fire.
WNBA is exactly what she expected to be. Faster paced, tougher, more physical, more intense.
Damaris Dantas with the rejection against Alicia Gray.
Hit her and said, "I dare you to shoot that ball." She's 50% in this game from three, but she can knock it down.
Instead, it's exposed a deep, uncomfortable truth about the league. A wave of jealousy, bitterness, and targeted hate that has overshadowed her incredible impact. And it's not just whispers behind the scenes anymore. From players and media figures to leadership at the very top of the WNBA, a toxic resistance has taken hold. But why? The numbers tell the story. Caitlin Clark is single-handedly driving the league's biggest growth in history. Record-breaking ratings, sold-out arenas, merch flying off shelves, a projected $1 billion in revenue this year alone. Yet, instead of embracing this success, the league seems determined to deny it. Caitlin Clark was 0 for 5 from 3. She had 5 fouls. Her shot, cold. But her message, red hot. After a hard foul from Ryan Howard, Clark got up, looked her dead in the eye, and said what the cameras caught loud and clear, "I'm not scared of you." That one sentence flipped the energy. The crowd got louder, the game got more physical, and the Fever, they turned up the heat, because sometimes leadership isn't about scoring, it's about refusing to back down, and that's what Caitlin Clark gave them. It was the moment the Indiana Fever became dangerous. They shut down Brittany Griner, and they did it all with their superstar having the worst game of her career. And if this game proved anything, it's that you can shut down Clark's shot, but you can't shut down her will. Caitlin Clark, she walked off defeated. But on May 22nd, everything flipped. Griner scored just 5 points and fouled out. And even though Clark had her worst shooting night in over 3 years, she stood up to Ryan Howard, looked her dead in the eye. "I'm not scared of you." Brittany Griner came into this game ready to dominate. She thought it would be another easy night in the paint, but Indiana had a plan.
Sophie Cunningham smothering defense on Alicia Gray. The double team comes over for BG. She has 5 seconds to work with.
The bottom line is it contributed to elevating the popularity.
Yeah.
So Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, embrace this. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because all y'all do is compete.
That was the moment the narrative shifted. Candace, Lisa, and Stephen A. didn't just defend Clark, they exposed the bitter core of the resistance against her.
Damn!
And with millions watching, the haters were left humiliated. Their arguments dismantled live on national TV.
I said it's also.
So that's a flagrant foul.
That's not a flagrant.
Okay.
Angel's foul right here. That's
Because of the reaction.
No, Angel, she pushed her.
That's more.
But they didn't call that.
Howard in the back,
Because
two
of the
hands.
She
reaction.
did push her. They didn't call that.
Caitlin appears to be pointing out that call before.
And even though Clark had her worst shooting night in over 3 years, she stood up to Ryan Howard, looked her dead in the eye. "I'm not scared of you." Brittany Griner came into this game ready to dominate. She thought it would be another easy night in the paint, but Indiana had a plan. Every time Griner touched the ball, she got swarmed. Double teams, contact, chaos. By the fourth quarter, she was frustrated, out of rhythm, and in foul trouble. With 3:38 left, she fouled out. The arena went silent, but that's when Natasha Howard turned into a monster. 26 points, 12 of 17 shooting. She erased her bad game one and took over the second half. It started with a simple question. Was there resentment building in the WNBA around Clark's success? Candace's answer was clear, powerful, and impossible to ignore. "My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. You think Cheryl Miller is resentful that I had a league to play in? Number she mentored me. And I'm doing the same for Caitlin Clark and all the women in the WNBA."
Sensational young player who's brought a lot of popularity to the WNBA, and I'll leave it at that. And get to a more micro question, and that would be this.
Got a Brianna Jones who can shoot threes and stretch the floor. I'll call that for Atlanta.
Backdoor, more movement from Indiana. Gets another bucket. It's a little bit of a seesaw.
When Clark, Boston, and Mitchell were struggling, Howard stepped in and punished Atlanta. No one expected it. No one was ready for it. This was supposed to be Clark versus Griner, but instead, it was a team that came back from humiliation and made one of the league's biggest stars completely disappear. Caitlin Clark didn't have to save the Fever this time because Sophie Cunningham came back and brought the fire.
Back-to-back buckets for Indiana. Now things are starting to groove.
Because sometimes leadership isn't about scoring, it's about refusing to back down. And that's what Caitlin Clark gave them. Belief, swagger, grit. This wasn't just a win. It was the moment the Indiana Fever became dangerous. The Indiana Fever didn't just get revenge. They sent a warning to the entire WNBA. They beat a playoff team on the road. They shut down Brittany Griner, and they did it all with their superstar having the worst game of her career. That's not luck, that's depth. Caitlin Clark didn't just win, she humiliated Brittany Griner, and the moment she said, "I'm not scared of you," everything changed. This was personal. Just 48 hours earlier, the Indiana Fever were embarrassed on their home floor.
Howard had it blocked at the rim. Howard pulls it down. Howard's shot is short. And Atlanta will escape with a victory.
Out-rebounded, out-muscled, outplayed. Brittany Griner dropped 21.
Howard has the assignment. Griner has the size, ducks in. Oh, pretty finish.
You got to make her make that tough play and not foul her.
Handoff, Clark. Skip pass, left wing. Cunningham tees it up, and the three is good. That does it for the first 10 minutes. The Fever trail the Dream 18-13.
In just 20 minutes, off the bench, 9 points, 6 rebounds. She sparked an 11-0 run, hit her first 3 of the season, and took a charge in the final seconds. Pure energy, pure chaos, pure impact. Then came Lexi Hull. 10 points, 4 assists, career-high performance.
Hull going right at Tahina Pow and gets the bucket.
I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. It's not. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. So I just don't, again, I don't know what the big deal is about the fact that Caitlin is getting a lot of love. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game, just as a lot of other players have. But it is what it is.
Simple, logical, unarguable. And then came Stephen A. Smith, one of the few mainstream voices willing to say what so many in the WNBA won't. Addressing players upset about Clark's TV exposure, he drew the perfect comparison. Michael Jordan wasn't yet winning championships, but his popularity was so astronomical that the NBA marketed everything around him.
Much needed bucket for Indiana.
Brings pass right elbow. Hull hangs, jumper good off the backboard.
Atlanta had no answer. The same bench that was a weakness all season just outscored Atlanta's by 16 points. This wasn't a one-woman show anymore. The Fever proved they were deeper, stronger, and ready to win ugly. Even with Clark shooting bricks, they looked like contenders. And it's all because role players stepped up when the lights were the brightest. This team didn't just bounce back. They transformed. Caitlin Clark was 0 for 5 from 3. She had 5 fouls. Her shot, cold. But her message, red hot. Lisa Leslie, a Hall of Famer and one of the WNBA's most respected voices, echoed Parker's message in an earlier interview. We cannot deny what Caitlin Clark has done for the women's game. She's had a huge effect, the Caitlin Clark effect.
I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that. I love that she's not the player who's like, it's all about her. She's giving love and homage to those of us that have come before her. She shares the wealth with her teammates, and she doesn't have to do that. She deserves that, and she's helped change this game, just as a lot of other players have.
The signs were there from day one, after Clark's sensational season opener against the Chicago Sky, a game that pulled in a staggering 2.7 million viewers, the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years.
First in the league in fast break points.
Clark connects. Dishing. Smith hitting from 3. Boston comes up with a rejection.
What was the league's response? An investigation, not into the game, not into officiating, but into the fans, over alleged hate speech that, as the video points out, was based on nothing more than online rumors. Instead of celebrating Clark's historic debut, the headlines were hijacked. Suddenly, the story wasn't about basketball. It was about controversy.
I'm not going to act like it's something that we don't see. She's had a huge effect called the Caitlin Clark effect. Yes, have we ever had teams have to get into larger arenas to play against a team? No, we have not. So if we have more eyeballs on the game and Caitlin Clark brings that, why would we feel some kind of way because she has more television games? I think we have to understand that when one player eats, we all eat. And as we all get more opportunities, it just opens it up for everyone else. And I think Caitlin has said that even herself in certain interviews. And I love that.
Yet when Brittany Griner hurled that slur on national television, there was no accountability. And let's not pretend this was an isolated incident.
Is playing a game, and this is what Brittany Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittany Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
Well, that pretty much sounds like trash effing white girl.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest.
So the whole market reacts to this with Brittany Griner, right?
That's the question burning through every fan forum and media outlet right now. And until the WNBA addresses this blatant double standard, its credibility will continue to crumble, no matter how many "no space for hate" slogans they slap on the court. The WNBA now stands at a crossroads. Brittany Griner's words have ignited a firestorm of controversy. Caitlin Clark's fans are furious, neutral viewers are stunned, and the league's silence is making it all worse. The fact is simple. Caitlin Clark has done nothing but elevate women's basketball. She's broken viewership records. She's brought millions of new fans to the sport. She's the Rookie of the Year, a finalist in MVP voting, the face of the WNBA. Candace also called out the toxic race-driven narratives polluting the conversation around Clark. Let's keep it about basketball. That's the key. And when we do that, we can really grow the game. A direct challenge to those pushing culture wars over on-court excellence.
Now everybody has a Twitter finger. Everybody can have reach to, the WNBA and make comments. But really the key is let's keep it about basketball. And when we do that, then we're able to really grow the game and what it represents.
But my thing is, had Angel or anyone else done the exact same type of a foul to Caitlin, the storyline's different.
Candace Parker's ESPN Truth Bomb wasn't just a defense of Caitlin Clark, it was a line in the sand. Top WNBA legend with the credibility to speak without fear, calling out the league's toxic undercurrent, jealousy, race baiting, and media spin for what it really is, a distraction, a threat to the very growth everyone claims to want. In one calm, logical interview, Parker left the haters exposed, the whispers of resentment silenced, the racial narratives rejected, the excuses shattered. And in doing so, she sent a clear message to the WNBA: either embrace this moment and Caitlin Clark's impact, or risk destroying it. And this is where the tension finally snapped, because when Candace Parker spoke out on ESPN, she didn't just defend Caitlin Clark, she exposed the entire system that had allowed this toxic culture to fester. When Candace Parker sat down on ESPN's First Take, no one expected the conversation to explode the way it did. But what unfolded was a masterclass in leadership and a devastating blow to Caitlin Clark's critics. It started with a simple question: was there resentment building in the WNBA around Clark's success? Candace's answer was clear, powerful, and impossible to ignore. My job was to leave the game better than I came into it. As Candace Parker said so perfectly, let's keep it about basketball. That's the only path forward. If you stand with Caitlin Clark and believe it's time for the WNBA to embrace her impact, hit that like button and subscribe for more. And tell us in the comments, did Candace Parker just deliver the truth bomb the league needed to hear? We'll be watching.
This thing got very ugly very quickly, and then Brittany Griner, this guy out of nowhere, comes out, and what happened?
This guy out of nowhere?
Well, doesn't he shoot without a shirt on? Like, isn't it? I thought it's a trend.
I saw him shooting at his pool.
Stay tuned, because once you see the full story, you'll understand why fans are saying this is the WNBA's biggest scandal yet. Brittany Griner's shocking words were caught on live TV. During a heated game, Griner fouled out, and as she walked off the court, cameras clearly captured her mouthing the words "trash effing white girl" toward Caitlin Clark. The footage went viral almost instantly. Lip readers confirmed what fans suspected, and major commentators like Skip Bayless wasted no time in calling out what they saw. Yet the WNBA, which rushed to investigate fans after unverified claims of racism toward Angel Reese, is now turning a blind eye when racism comes from a player. Commentators scrambled to excuse Griner's words. Some even claimed she said "whack call" instead.
Now, I think it was my old friend Jamel Hill, used to work with her at ESPN. I believe Jamel said Griner actually said fucking whack call, and that could be the case. I'm not a lip reader. But it sure looks to me like the last word is girl, not call.
The trash talk was real. The revenge, brutal. And what happened next will shock you.
It's game day in the A as the Dream welcome in Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, who are looking for some get back after dropping their previous game back on Tuesday against the Dream. Caitlin Clark has created some history to start the season.
Caitlin Clark just had the worst shooting game of her career and still embarrassed Brittany Griner on her home floor. The trash talk was real. The revenge, brutal. And what happened next will shock you. Disgusting conspiracy theories spread, including one accusing Clark of using her assistant coach's baby as a prop. Meanwhile, actual threats were made against Clark and her teammates, messages with bullseyes drawn on players' faces, and warnings of violence. And through it all, silence. Not a word from the WNBA. No statement, no condemnation, no support. For a league that constantly touts its values of inclusion and safety, the hypocrisy was staggering. In one calm, logical interview, Parker left the haters exposed, the whispers of resentment silenced, the racial narratives rejected, the excuses shattered. And in doing so, she sent a clear message to the WNBA: either embrace this moment and Caitlin Clark's impact, or risk destroying it. Now the league faces a choice: continue allowing bitterness to dominate the conversation, or follow the example of legends like Parker and Leslie and rally behind the players who are growing the game. Because this isn't just about Caitlin Clark anymore, it's about the WNBA's future. A future that depends on welcoming new fans, celebrating stars, and keeping the focus where it belongs: on basketball. No action was taken. Other players have struck Clark in the face, shoved her after plays, and even celebrated it. Hurting Clark has, disturbingly, become a sport of its own. But through it all, Caitlin Clark never retaliates. She never elbows back. She never lashes out. She simply plays her game and continues breaking records. That's what makes this latest incident so damning. Griner's outburst wasn't heat-of-the-moment trash talk. It was deliberate, hateful, and captured clearly on camera.
Put the quote of Brittany Griner, what she said about the NBA.
That's grit. That's a team evolving in real time. Natasha Howard took over. Sophie Cunningham made her presence felt. Lexi Hull dominated off the bench. And Caitlin Clark, even in her lowest moment, showed exactly why she's a leader. The trash talk, the swagger, the fire. This team is no longer rebuilding. They're ready. And if this game proved anything, it's that you can shut down Clark's shot, but you can't shut down her will. The Fever are coming. And the rest of the league better be ready.
And I think Caitlin Clark has done that even in her first year in terms of, you know, being able to be that floor general. Her and Aaliyah Boston's connection has really improved. And I think the thing about Caitlin, yes, she can shoot from the logo, but she makes her team better.
Candace Parker just said what every Caitlin Clark fan has been screaming all season, and it left Caitlin's haters completely silenced on national TV. But what exactly did Candace say on ESPN, and why has this one interview sparked outrage, exposed deep jealousy in the WNBA, and forced the league to confront its biggest controversy yet? Stay tuned, because this was the truth bomb no one saw coming.
Hi, I'm Caitlin Clark, guard for the Indiana Fever.